Hey guys, what's up? Piranha here, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Mario Sunshine! In the last episode, we started our adventure by Mario going to try to take a vacation on Isle Delfino with Peach and Toadsworth, and it turns out that Mario got thrown in jail and tried for a crime that he obviously did not commit, but apparently nobody else can see that, up to and including Peach, until she got kidnapped, and she was outright realizing that, oh hey, Mario would not kidnap me. But either way, now that that's been done, we've chased the intruder into this area right here, and we ended up spraying the graffiti he jumped into with water. And since he jumped into there, you know what? Blue Skidoo, we can too. So let's just jump right on in to World 1, as the Delfino Plaza was kind of our hub world. Welcome to Bianco Hills. This is where the levels will actually start. Starting with Episode 1, Road to the Big Windmill. Now, for those of you that have played Mario 64, or even Mario Galaxy by extension, either one of them, Mario Sunshine has a lot less worlds in it. However, there are a lot more, in this case, shines in them. There are, in fact, 11 in total per world. You'll have 8 missions you have to complete in order to beat the game. Just beating it, not 100%ing it. You have to beat the first 7 missions. There's an 8th one as a bonus, so that brings you up to 8. There are an additional 2 hidden shine sprites in each of the worlds, so that will bring you up to 10. And then you've got the 100 coin shine as well, so 11 per level. Quite an amount to have, which I do like having more, more out of a level, but I think 11's too much. I like mine being around 8 or so. So this first episode, Road to the Big Windmill, there's nothing incredibly difficult about this, and I got hit in the cutscene, so I actually didn't take damage there. Let's see. In each of the episodes, they'll kind of give you like a little bit of an overlay of what's going on. You can kind of look through the area, and, you know, with this first one, you can maneuver around as much as you want. It's obviously called Road to the Big Windmill, so look for the windmill, take the pathway there, and you'll easily find this. But for the most part, some of the shines will require you to get a little bit accustomed to how the world looks. For now, though, not incredibly hard. This first shine's very easy. I'm actually going to skip it for a second and go over here, because there's something kind of interesting that a lot of people might actually not know about this area. And it's only found in this first mission here. I'm not sure if I can pull this off. I should be able to, though. Yeah, there we go. Remember how in Mario Galaxy you can kind of trick out jumps by doing the spin to get back up? It kind of works the same here with F.L.U.D. Come on. There we go. So if you actually go up past the window right here, you just grab onto the sledge and talk to this guy. He'll say, what's that? What are you doing over here? You're getting a little ahead of yourself, don't you think? Isn't there something you should do before coming here? Yeah, we should probably go collect that shine, huh? But just a little curious thing that a lot of people probably don't know, because, you know, why would you bother going past the shine? It's like declining a star in Mario Party. Like, almost never do you have a reason to do that. I've only legitimately declined one once, and I ended up winning the game because I did it, because for those of you who played Mario Party, you know, especially in the older games, the CPU targets whoever's in first, so it's not always a good thing to be in first place. Sometimes you want to hang back in second or third. But either way, we have collected our first shine. Our first shine in an actual world, not the hub world, mind you, because technically that first one we got was part of Delfino Plaza. There are actually 15 shines, I believe 15, hidden in there. So we'll be getting those much later, but that first one you had to pick up, so let's go ahead and jump right back in. Mission 2, Down with Petey Piranha. Now these missions are pretty quickly going to start getting much longer, and so I'm not entirely sure how the videos are going to work. It's going to seem... I'm really going to figure it out after I edit this video, because, like I said, I might try to do an entire world in one video, minus the 100 coin shine and the blue coins, which, like I said, the blue coins we'll see later on, and I'll talk about them a little bit more once we open up the area to use them in, which is not until after Bianco Hills. So, like I said, we'll talk about them later. However, like I said, since the missions are longer, I'm not quite sure how much time it's going to take to get through each one. It's going to take more than it would Mario 64, where I could beat each of the worlds without much difficulty and not take up too much time. There is going to be some cutting, like I said, and we'll get to that whenever I get to, I believe, Mission 3. But for now, we're just going to kind of play it by ear. So let's go ahead and head on up here. Down with Petey Piranha. If you noticed in the intro, Petey Piranha is actually at the top of this windmill. And you can also figure that out if you, for whatever reason, like me, decided to go up and talk to that guy and he said, aren't you getting ahead of yourself? Would imply that you would have to come back here later, and sure enough, you will. So to get to the top of this area, you can talk to this guy if you want. He'll say, "Chill with the big-headed creature up there. You're the only one who we can ask to lend a hand. It's a pain, but you think you can handle it?" Yeah, I think I can handle it. Petey Piranha is a pretty easy boss in this game. So go ahead and ride the windmill up. Now, this game has a really bad habit, in case you couldn't tell by the paint monster that we've already fought 3 times. It's got a bad habit of recycled bosses. Petey Piranha you'll be fighting, off the top of my head, at least one other time. The game does recycle bosses, which is kind of a pain, but what are you going to do? Well, thankfully, Petey Piranha's not too hard, and this is back before they just decided to pretty much stick him in every Mario game they possibly could. He's also much taller than Mario. Like, a good 7 times his height. Maybe more. Unfortunately for him, he's also a fat ass. And so he broke through the windmill. And we died. Well, that's it for this Let's Play. Thank you guys for watching, and wait, what? We're still... Yeah, we're still alive. Also, this looks nothing like the inside of the windmill should. Like, I don't know what it should look like, but there's literally nothing in here. A windmill should have something in it, and there's just nothing here. Anyway, as I mentioned, this is a particularly easy boss fight. I would recommend getting rid of the goop that's all around him, just so those little paint monster things won't respawn. And in order to beat him, all you have to do is just wait for him. Whoa, not to do that. If you get too close, he will swipe his head at you, and you don't want him to do that because that's not the attack that will open him up for a counterattack by you. Wait for him to look like he's about to vomit, because if he does get that off, he'll throw up paint on the ground, which is kind of gross. But whenever you do that, switch into your over-the-shoulder is what I'd recommend, and spray his mouth with water. Once he's gotten enough water in his stomach, his belly button will appear and he'll fall over. His belly button is weak point. As you guys probably know now by Mario enemies, 3 times is the magic number, and once you do that, he will be defeated. So, not an incredibly difficult boss. Like I said, really the only thing that might trip you up, besides maybe the head attack if you get too close, is the little paint monsters, and if you get rid of them immediately, and don't allow him to counter, then they're not going to be an issue at all. So, not very difficult, no. And he'll turn into paint and die. Hooray! We killed him! Because murder is always allowed in this game. Now, something else I didn't mention that I actually need to, well, I'm in here, because, why not? What could be a better spot for this? Is, if you are actually running and you do the dive attack, which I believe I showed, if you do a dive attack while running, or you press A, you can do a dive attack as well. Just A and then B. If you spray water on the ground and do a dive attack, you'll actually be able to slide really far, like a water slide-esque thing, so... Just something worth noting, it's not important in this mission, but it might become very useful later. And it's also easier, makes it faster to get through some of the earlier missions. So, just keep it in mind. Now, I have been rambling a little bit, but we're 8 minutes in. We've only done, what, 3 missions here? No, 2 missions here. So, that should give you an idea of how long these can take sometimes. So, like I said, after I get this first video edited, I'll kind of get an idea if I want to do an entire world of video, half of one, and do 5 and 5. We'll kind of play it by ear for now. But you guys won't have any issue with it because I'll probably have it figured out by that point. Either way, the Hillside Cave secret. Now, every time you see secret in a level, make sure you pay attention to that because secret levels mean 2 different things. And we'll get into this first one, and I'll just skip straight to the second one. We'll get into the first one when we actually get up there. The thing about the secret levels is that you're going to be coming back into every single one of them twice. Because in addition to doing the level, once we get into the Hillside Cave, you'll also have to go back for a red coin mission in there. This game has a serious hard-on for red coins. I don't know why, but I think this first world has 4 of them in it. It's really bizarre. I don't know why they like red coins so much. I don't like the red coin missions that much. I don't like the silver stars, to be honest with you, either, even though there's only 5 of them. I like having 1, maybe 2, but 4 per world, it's too many, I'm sorry. But yeah, just expect to be coming back to all the secret levels. The second is, secret levels equal floodless levels. Every time you get into the secret area, which they'll usually show you at the start of the world, you're going to get your flood taken away from you and have to do a platforming segment like this. So get used to seeing them. They'll happen a lot. These areas can be a little bit tricky because not only will they require platforming without FLUDD, you also have the added issue of dealing with areas that they make that are surprisingly hard. Like, this first one's pretty easy, but later on they get kind of ridiculous. As you can see, this first one right here is not difficult at all, though. The area with the blocks right there, the one I just passed and jumped over, that's probably the hardest area, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe these stars. This place is also crawling with 1-ups, and not just this one, but all the floodless levels, though, to be honest. So, if you're having issues, you can always just grab the 1-ups if you would prefer that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. There's also one at the start of the mission. You might have noticed those 2 nails that were on the side. Whenever I first went up the blocks that were going left and right, if you ground pound the nail on the right, that will also give you a 1-up. So, while there's very many opportunities to die, they usually have enough 1-ups, or at least one at the start, to where it's pretty hard to game over unless you get so frustrated that you're just not going to bother going for it anymore. It's pretty much impossible otherwise to game over. Now, not all the stages do that, but most of them will. You will get your F.L.U.D back after the level's over, so no need to worry about that. For now, in order to get one of the secret shines, we are going to have to go back into the secret level, and you will be going back to the cave itself. So, I will meet you guys there. Cutting normally would not be a big deal here, and it's not that far away, but later on they are going to be taking a good 4 or 5 minutes. So for now, I am going to cut it, and I will see you guys whenever we are back at the cave. Alright, so now that we're back at the cave, I might show that part where I fell down there just to show you that if you don't make that jump, that you can still make it there regardless, and just do the little wall jump trick and then use F.L.U.D afterwards. Just figured I'd go and show it. You'll notice that the stage is a bit different. For one, you have F.L.U.D, which is kind of weird, because it's like, okay, well that kind of takes the challenge out of it. But you'll also find, and sometimes they're later in the levels, a red coin switch here. So whenever you press this, you'll have to start collecting 8 red coins. And you do this in a time limit as well. So, this first one's not incredibly difficult. I'm going to pass on that 1-up that's over there just because I don't think I need it whenever I have F.L.U.D, and even if I die, I have plenty of lives right now. But it is something worth noting that while they do give you F.L.U.D, it is going to be a little bit tricky because some of these later ones, they are pretty cruel on the time limit, to be honest. This first one was a minute, and it's not, or is a minute. I'm not post-commentating this, thankfully. This first one's a minute, and it's not too bad because the mission itself, or the level itself, isn't that hard. So, like, even with that, it's not terrible, and I got stuck on that block and died anyway. But later on, they give you some cruel ones, like, absolutely ridiculous ones in later levels with the secret things. And they just get absolutely insane with how close you'll cut it. There's some that I've cut in the first time I played through the game where I had less than 1/5 of a second left. So on the actual timer I'd have 0 seconds and then 0.20 or less. And while this first one, like I said, is not terrible, you don't want to drag your feet either, obviously. So for this first format, this is not incredibly difficult. The first 2 coins they practically give you, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all on the area right there. As you can see, they're in each of the corners. 6, 7, and 8 are on the stars that are... I think I got pushed by it again. No, I did not. Okay, good. They're on the stars that are on the end of the rotating block areas here. And without F.L.U.D, there's no way you'd be able to reach these, so you can see why immediately the hover nozzle is probably going to be your best friend. I think it's more valuable than the default one, to be honest with you. Even though it is one of the defaults, it's not what you start with whenever you come out of the level. You have to switch to it. You don't get just the regular nozzle. So once that's taken care of, the timer will go away. You don't have to worry about collecting the shine before the timer runs out, thankfully, because that would be kind of a jerk move if they made you do that. But just go ahead and pick up your shine. If you wanted to run back and get the 1-up, you can. I honestly don't think it's worth the time or the risk, even with F.L.U.D, so I'm not going to bother. But yeah, expect to see me dying a lot in later levels. That was the first time I had died, just while doing the LP thus far, but it will get worse, trust me. In all honesty, the last time that I beat it, that file that had 68 shines, because I believe you only need about 60 to beat the game. I don't know the exact number, I believe it's about 60. I never game overed, and that's the first time, because I've played through the game 100% 2 other times before that. So, it wasn't until my 3rd playthrough that I ended up beating the final boss without gaming over. Not without dying, but just without gaming over, period. So, if you can get that far, especially in your first playthrough, that's pretty impressive. Mario Sunshine's not one of the easier 3D platformers. At least it wasn't for me the first time playing it. I feel like this one does have, as I said, more of a learning curve than Galaxy or Mario 64 did. But maybe that's just me. Either way, this one, Red Coin's Windmill Village, also I should note that you can't pause unless you're on the ground and not moving. It's kind of obnoxious, but what are you going to do? Once again, like I said, this game has a serious hard-on for red coins, which is kind of a pain. Thankfully, this first one's not too bad. They give you a bit of an idea where each coin it can be. And some of them aren't quite in the village, but they're pretty close. As you can see, we're already halfway there. I would recommend going to where I started right there, because that area that's got all the stone and whatnot has 3 of them, and it will also lead you to the hut that's got the 4th one right there. Number 5's right here. This one could be kind of a pain to get, especially with these wind spirits chasing you. But there's number 6 that's kind of in midair. I took some fall damage, but I really don't care that much. I don't know why I'm going this direction, because there's actually one back this way at the start that I skipped because I went a different direction. Otherwise, this will probably be the first one you pick up. There's number 7. And then I fell, even though it didn't matter because I'm not going that way anyway. Alright, head up here. Do a simple wall jump. If you played a Mario game before, you know how to do this. Whenever you're sliding down the wall, just kick off in the opposite direction, and that's how you do a wall jump. You can stack them repeatedly. There's coin number 8, and there's the shine. Now, if you have done any of the Mario 64's games before, you know that the only shine that's going to appear directly on top of you and not in a fixed spot is going to be the 100 coin shine. And that is the case here, but just keep in mind the 8 red coins just because you've gotten all 8. Like, let's say you got number 8 over a pit, and you're like, okay, I'll just use F.L.U.D to hover my way up to, and then I won't have to worry about it. No, the shines are always in a fixed spot with 8 red coins as well, so if you make a jump like that knowing that it's a suicide jump and you're not going to be able to make it back, then you just screwed yourself. Which kind of sucks, but what are you going to do?